Welcome back, guys, to Factorio Towns with me, Massive Dynamic. We are starting off over here at Bitterness at the power plant because our plan is to build a new nuclear power plant as we've been working on over the past couple of episodes. So I'm going to grab one of these buildings here. I already have, as you can see, the parts that we need to build the power plant. So let's go outside and take a look around and see what we're going to do. All right, so first of all, I'm thinking that maybe we're gonna put it in to the north of the plant here. So we're gonna jump in the fire tank, and we're gonna get rid of some trees, make room for. I'm kind of thinking about where we're gonna go with this thing, and I'm thinking that it's gonna go right here, a little bit north of the power plant. So then I decided to park the truck, and I decided, you know what? No, let's do it down south. I think that's a better place for it. So we jump back in the fire truck, and the fire truck, that's what I'm calling it now, the fire tank, and we clear some space down this way. And now we can throw in our new rails because we're going to have to bring in the uranium in order to fire the plant, fuel the plant. So we jump back in the flame tank and we clear everything out of our way once again. Now that we know exactly where we're going to land, we're going to just clear all these trees out of here. We might save a couple of them just because we're not absolutely haters of the trees, are we? Maybe not. Let's see. Maybe a couple of trees here and there don't hurt us. Now we just run our track down, obviously, to make way for the trains. We'll let the bots do a little bit of the work for us. Thanks, bots. I do appreciate it. They're working much faster today, as you can see. The reason is because I recorded all this, and Bubloop suggested a long time ago that when I record my videos, I should do it in a different style than just the gameplay mode. So I recorded it ahead, and now I'm just commenting over the edited work that I've done. So now I'm able to speed things up, speed time up a little bit, and get a lot more work done in the same time. So this is like a 2-hour session of recording that I've reduced down to, I don't know, I think it's 15 minutes. So here we are inside of our building, and we're going to throw down our nuclear power plant. Now, it's been a while since I built a nuclear power plant from scratch. So obviously I just remember how to do it mostly, but there was a couple things that I forgot how to do. Like, one thing is the ratios, and I need to look up the ratios and just double check them. I'll do that before I start on the next episode. But I forgot how many boilers we need and how many steam engines we need to go with them. Or I think they don't call them steam engines. They call them something else, but I can't remember the name of them. Turbines, I think, is what they call them. So that was the layout that we settled on for our power plant. And then we're just going to hook up the power. And I couldn't remember how the whole the power thing worked with these buildings as far as importing and outputting power. I didn't know if the nuclear power plant would be able to support itself or if it had to be hooked up to the main grid. But I forgot something. So what I forgot was uranium. So we had to run down to grab the uranium from Bubloop's little town here. So we run down and run back, and yeah, I kind of forgot where I was going there for a second, but I made it back. And so yeah, we come back in here, we throw the materials into the assembly machine, and this is where I was like, okay, how do I turn this thing on? I should have handcrafted them, and that would have solved the problem. But instead I come down here and I hook up the power, and so I bring in the external power for a second just to get the assembly machine working. And I think I do that at some point. Oh, I had to pee. That's why I was in the trees there for a second. Anyways, so now we have to hook up the water. So I continued to be confused by these water pipes, the input output on the water pipes, because you use the is it the output goes where when you're inside a building, you want to You output water. Yeah, you output the water. When you're inside the building, you output the water. When you're outside the building, you input the water. And the in and out thing just drives me crazy. Yeah, but anyway, I turned on the power so that I could get the assembly machine working to build the fuel cells. And I decided that I really only needed one of these reactors to start up right now, which is why I trimmed off the belt there. And then I switched the power back around so that we would output the power once the reactor got fired up. Now, the sharp-eyed among you may have noticed the mistake that I made. But it went by really fast, so I don't blame you if you missed it, because I missed it too. But I'll fix it here in just a minute. Just give me time. So I threw down our standard loading, or unloader and loader. No, both are unloaders. I threw down the standard one, and then realized that I don't need 4 wagons worth of materials to keep the power plant running. So we just decided on a 1-1 train for the iron and also for the uranium, because that should be plenty to run our nuclear power plant, because the only thing we have to do is create fuel cells. So we set up the filters on the train wagon to take care of the uranium. We need some shiny and we need some dull, 235 and 238, as we like to say. So yeah, we set up the filters, and then I decided to add the most important thing of all, the pistol, to the wagon. In case I need a train load of pistols, I will always have them at the nuclear power plant, which is the best place to have a train load of pistols, I think. I think you'll agree with me on that. What I could have done also was filter the iron wagon. I probably should do that, and also get rid of all those chests. I don't need 6 chests worth of iron there, so I'll probably do that in between episodes too. I didn't think of that until just now, so did that. And now I'm just setting up the locomotive schedule. And we'll jump in there and ride down to grab a little bit more uranium and get that all set up. Get the loading set up for the wagon so that everything will be automated once we finish here. So yeah, we figure out that we don't need all this loading, so we get rid of all that to make way for limited loading, which is all that we require here. And so there's our belt for the uranium. And on the inside, I don't know why I didn't show it, but on the inside, I'll show it in just a second when we get inside there. But I have the uranium on one side of the belt, or the 235 on one side of the belt, and the 238 on the other side of the belt, which is plenty. And yeah, I thought this was a fun way to do this on the angle here. I don't know why I thought a diagonal was fun, but this is, when you play Factorio long enough, you realize that you have to make your own fun. And so one way you do it is by making diagonal belts that travel in a snake-like pattern next to your train stacker. And that worked out in the best way possible, which is like that. And that's perfect. Okay, so now our train is good to go. We send our train on its merry way, and meanwhile we stand around thinking, scratching our head, and there we go. So yeah, inside here we're going to just add a little bit of smarts to the loaders so that we don't end up with hundreds of thousands of uranium on the belt. So we're only going to take the uranium-235 when we have at least 40 in stock. That way we'll have enough for our Coverex processing. Which reminds me, we need to do some research so that we can get Coverex processing started. And then on the 238, we don't want to just be loading all of the 238 onto the belt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of wires here that will monitor the 235 output. And whenever it outputs a 235, it will output 2 238s, because what I'm going to do at some point is, and I could have set that for hold. Yeah, did I set it for hold? I thought about it. I can't remember if I end up doing that or not. I should set it for hold, which I'll come back and do if I don't. But anyway, this will monitor that, and it will only send the 238 when it's sending 235. That way there will be a balanced number of each in the chest. There should end up being more 238 than 235 because of the hand size on the inserters, which I will set eventually. But for now, we're just figuring out how to get this wired up, because what I did was I used the one red wire, and it's seeing all of the 235 in the chest, and that's not what I want it to do. I only want it to see the hand size, so I switched to a green wire there. So I have a red wire, a local red wire, and a shared green wire, and that fixes the problem. And yeah, I still have to bring in some more of those centrifuges, but that's not a big priority right now. Once we get the power online, then we can build more centrifuges. Our issue was power, obviously, which is why we're concentrating so much on building a new power plant. So we'll take care of that in a minute. Besides that, we have Covarex, and we also have fuel reprocessing. So we're going to need a few more centrifuges anyway, but just not in the immediate. We're just trying to take care of our immediate needs and get us on to the next episode when we can start building more purple science, which is going to move us forward. So I think everything is looking okay here now. Everything seems to be working. Of course, we won't know until we get enough uranium in there. Oh, this is where I set the hand size. Of course, autosave had to hit just right then. I tried to cut out all the autosaves from the video, but that one had to stay because it was showing something important. Just bad timing. So now, yeah, I'm just unloading my inventory of things that I don't need, and now we can take a walk back. I had to pee again, so I went in the woods there, and we're walking back. I had to pee again. It's a long walk, and I drank a lot of water when I recorded this, so I was in the bathroom a lot, and which means I was in the trees a lot. So anyway, here's the issue that I talked about earlier that I had messed up with the water. The input output, is it output, is it input? And the problem was that I forgot to hook up the pipe on the corner there. And once we did that, then everything worked. Once I figured out the output is input and the input is output, and then had water running, then we had power. So at this point, we have one reactor running, and I think I have the ratio correct set up for 2 reactors. But for now, we only need the one, so I'm just going to run the one. And I will double check the ratios later, but it's not that important right now. But we basically doubled our power. We're outputting 1.1 megawatts here, and I think that was about all that we had before this, because when I check the power out here, you'll see that we have like 2. Yeah, so we're using about half. So yeah, we doubled our power, which is great, which means that I could put some kind of limit on our coal-fired power plant at some point, but for now we're just going to leave it alone. I'm not really worried about that. Pollution is not an issue with all these trees. At least it's not yet. It may. I don't know what's going to happen when that pollution cloud crosses the water, but I'm thinking there's plenty of trees over there to stop the biters from wanting to come all the way around. So now I decide to get rid of a couple of these signals, and I had to pee again, so I had to stand in the trees. Pardon me. Anyway, do the signaling, go pee again. I really did drink a lot of water, so it was and yeah, don't look now because you can see me this time. Sorry about that. I'm trying to hide, but I mean, my skin is green, or my suit is green, but you can still see me in the tree, so I apologize for that. But anyway, we can jump back in the truck here, and we're headed back to Bubloop Town, because now we're so happy that we have power that we're going to check on our research queue. We'll turn that back on. So as you remember in the last episode, we had this power switch for the research queue. So yay, we turn that back on. We have green lights, which means we can do research. And yeah, we're using like half of our power, so we have plenty for our future. So now let's go ahead and start the research of the rest of the blue science that we have available to us. which isn't much that's all that exciting, honestly. We need to get some purple science built. I think that's our next priority. So yeah, we just throw the blue science that's left onto our queue, which there's exactly 7 items left to research, which was perfect for the number of slots that we have in our queue. And that makes us really happy when that happens. And that pretty much brings it to a conclusion. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you'll stick around for the next episode. Bye-bye.